Hey guys, today I want to review all of the Prison of Elders weapons. You guys have been asking, are they good, bad, so we're going to go over them. These are the guns that you get from Skolas, from Judgment's Chance, and from Varix when he sells them. If you're looking for a review of the Queen weapons that come from the big chest, I have a short one linked in the description. Now, the Prison of Elders weapons cannot be reforged at all and come with very specific bonuses and perks. The only perk that can change is in the second slot, which is random, so let's go over that perk slot real quick. For possibilities in that perk slot, we have Demotion, Disciplinarian, Dregburn, Shankburn, Mutineer, and Vandalburn. Anything that's blank burn does exactly what you think it does. It deals more damage to that enemy type. Shankburn is basically worthless because Shanks have such a small amount of health to begin with. Dregburn is not much better. Vandalburn is probably the best of the possible straight up burns simply because you're going to get more of a benefit because Vandals have more health. Demotion and Mutineer revolve around disabling fallen captains. Demotion stuns captains and Mutineer can suppress captain abilities, aka teleporting. I'd rather go Demotion over Mutineer because a stun basically does the same thing as a disable, except the captain won't shoot back. Disciplinarian is also a good bonus overall because it deals bonus damage to all fallen enemies, not any specific enemy, so you get more of a benefit. You don't really have any control over the mods that you get, but look for Captain Stuns and Disciplinarian as the bonuses to get lucky on. So let's start from the top. Wolf Slayer's Claw is the auto rifle with probably the best stats that you really want on an auto rifle, at least right now, while bullet hoses are pretty bad. Good rate of fire, high damage, decent magazine size. It comes with crowd control, which is a great PvE bonus, and it comes with Field Scout, which brings the magazine size up to a whopping 42 shots. You also have perfect balance and flared magwell if you want either of those as well. This is a very good weapon overall to have, but auto rifles right now are kinda not great, so keep this one leveled up and just store it in the vault for now. The next weapon is the pulse rifle Aegis of the Kell. This is a high rate of fire, low impact pulse rifle, which historically have not been great for PvE. Rangefinder is kind of a meh bonus on a pulse rifle, especially a high rate of fire one. Extended mag is a good bonus, but only brings the magazine up to 30 rounds. Compare this to the Messenger from Trials of Osiris, which is a low rate of fire, high impact pulse rifle, which has 24 shots unbuffed and 33 shots with extended mag. Compare this to Wolf Slayer's Claw, which gets 42 rounds. In PvP, high rate of fire pulse rifles are actually pretty good in close to medium ranges, and this weapon is certainly not an exception. It performs pretty well in that regard. But I'm personally not the biggest fan of these kinds of pulse rifles in PvE, and there's a reason you don't see them being used too often. The next primary is the 6 Dreg Pride, which is the hand cannon. The stats are good, it's in that sweet spot for damage and rate of fire. It comes with Army of 1, which is pretty good on a hand cannon considering the 1-shot and 2-shot capabilities of a hand cannon. Extended mag bumps the magazine size up to 12, 9 is fair, but I know I love being in the double digits. Its stats are ever so slightly better than stuff like Red Hand and Her Mercy, but not by a huge amount or anything like that. It also comes with Sure Shot IS, which is good to see. Overall, this is a very good hand cannon, has the best balance of rate of fire and damage with a solid magazine size. The final primary weapon is Wolf's Leash, which is the Scout Rifle. Now this is the alternate style Scout Rifle, which is low damage, high rate of fire. Only 17 in the magazine isn't the worst, but it's certainly not the best, especially for a higher rate of fire weapon. With triple tap, you might get a few more shots per magazine depending on how good of a shot you are. Perfect balance is probably going to be your perk selection here. Snapshot isn't great, but custom optics is going to be more of a personal preference thing. All that being said, there are plenty of good older scout rifles still around and still obtainable. I don't see people using this too much in PvE, although PvP is a little bit different, but something like the Sure Shot from Dead Orbit can be reforged for something like Full Auto, which is a little bit better than Triple Tap for PvP. Let's move to the special weapons now, starting with the shotgun Wolfborn Oath. This is a rare sight nowadays, a higher rate of fire, medium damage shotgun. 6 shots in the magazine is pretty good. Close and or personal, I think, is much more of a PvP bonus than a PvE one because most of the time melee damage is not really going to be worth the risk in higher level content. You're not going to be getting many kills that are because of that extra 25% damage on your melee attack in PvE, whereas in PvP it jacks up your melee attack to around 150 damage, which is much more useful, especially given the whole blink shotgun meta right now. Its stats are very similar to Secret Handshake from Dark Below, so if you still have one of those around, take it out, shoot it a bunch, and you have a pretty good representation of what this weapon is like. It's not bad or anything, but the flavor of the month is a high impact, low rate of fire shotgun, which is very good in PvE and has a higher chance of one-shotting PvE enemies. Obviously, the risk is not as high because you don't have to wait as long to shoot it, but those high impact shotguns are really good for a reason. Shadow of Veils is the sniper rifle. This is also a rare sight in the House of Wolves, a higher damage, low rate of fire sniper rifle, which I like for PvE, but is also not too shabby for PvP. High damage snipers are becoming very popular in Trials of Osiris because of their ability to kill an enemy through an overshield as they're being resurrected. Replenish is your bonus, which is, I don't think, anything special. It's not bad or anything, but I think there's better stuff out there. Extended Mag bumps up your magazine size a bit, but Perfect Balance will help your aim recovery after every shot, so you have some options available. The sniper is nothing bad, but it's nothing special either, especially because her Benevolence from the Queen's Chest basically has the same stats and can be reforged, which kinda gives it a little bit of an advantage. Servant of Axor is the final of the special weapons, the Fusion Rifle. This is a ridiculously high impact fusion rifle, making it great for PvE and slightly higher risk for PvP. It does come with accelerated coils as well, which can give you some flexibility depending on the activity that you're doing. Target acquisition on a fusion rifle is interesting, but target acquisition is never a bad thing to have. 5 shots in the magazine is pretty good as well for a fusion rifle. Fusion rifles right now are just kind of outclassed by other stuff though, especially with the buff shotguns got a while back. It's a good fusion rifle to have around should they ever come back into the limelight with something like a Captain Stun ability. Moving to heavy weapons now, we have the Chain of Orbix Fell heavy machine gun. This is right in between the Yolder's style super slow firing, super high damage heavy machine gun and something like the Sawtooth Oscillator very rapidly firing low damage machine gun. Its stability is actually really good if you spec for it, making this a pretty nice PvP selection. Counterbalance is an excellent bonus to have on a heavy machine gun as well. Extended Mag boosts the magazine by about 15 shots, I believe, but Hammerforged isn't a bad selection either, and neither is Fitted Stock. All the options are pretty good. I'm using Fitted Stock in these clips, so you can really see how stable it is. Overall, a pretty reliable weapon to have, but once again, it's not something you need to chase super aggressively. It's good, but it's nothing phenomenal. Finally, we have the rocket launcher, The Last Rebellion. 2 rockets in the chamber is par for the course. Clown Cartridge is a good bonus on a rocket if you have the ability to reload frequently, but any sort of Fallen themed bonus I think is a little bit more of a waste compared to other weapons since most targets are going to be annihilated minus majors. Stuff like suppressing or stunning major captains is going to be good to have on there for those major waves, which can get pretty intense. I just don't know the proc rate of the stun, especially on a rocket launcher. The velocity on the rocket leaves a little bit to be desired, but you can build velocity on the weapon for that extra speed that you want. But this is yet another weapon that has no urgency. There are plenty of other good rocket launchers out there that have the freedom to be reforged. G-Horn and Truth are plenty good as they are and are pretty frequently used. For the primary weapons, there's also the possibility of getting a version of the weapon with an element on them from Skolas directly. The problem is that they don't drop every time, they're a random drop. I don't really feel like there's a need to keep around a non-elemental version of one of the primary weapons should you pick up an elemental version. The weapons also come with a random element, they are not assigned in any way. That is all I have for you guys on the Prison of Elders weapons. I'm going to have a review of all the Trials of Osiris weapons pretty soon, along with another video on the topic of Ascension and Reforging, hopefully sometime next week, which I hope you guys will find interesting. But that's going to do it for me for today. Thank you all very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.